We we are live, according to what my screen is telling me. Let me see. Sometimes it takes a while to kick over. Like I'm running. There we go. Uh, Mute that. I run. What a lot of people do is they run a like I use what's called StreamYard to run my live streams and stuff, but it's always like a delay. Like I click on live here on StreamYard, I can see myself. And then what happens is I shoot over to YouTube, make sure that's playing. So it's always like a little bit behind. So, how's everybody doing today? I didn't know if I was going to do a live this morning. My throat, you can tell it's a little raspy, right? So, I don't know. I just woke up. I'm like, yeah, we'll do it. I didn't schedule it. And I know somebody else is doing a live right now, another YouTuber. So I said, let me do mine around 10 o'clock. You know, the thing is, when you run live streams, different people's different time zones. You know what I'm saying? Um, I've ran live streams at 4 in the afternoon here in the Philippines, which would be like 4 a.m. back in the States, and a different group of people. You know, people, subscribers, you guys come from all over the world, to watch Philly in the Philippines, right? uh, and I greatly appreciate it. I really do. Braddy Shark. Hello, Braddy Shark 714. Is the 714 like the 215, like an area code? Joe McGrath, hello from Texas. I don't know if you're a Cowboys fan or if you're a Texan fan, but you're more than welcome into my room. I'm not an Eagles fan. All right, kind of sounds weird to those that follow football. How can you not be an Eagles fan? You're from Philadelphia. Just not an Eagles fan. I grew up with the Cowboys team. You know what I mean? And at the time, the Eagles sucked. Let's face it. You know, I grew up with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader posters and the blonde hair. But anyways, welcome. I hope the weather is nice there today. Weather here is beautiful. I couldn't tell you when the last time we had rain. We had a couple spritz the other day when I was riding, but nothing big. It's beautiful. It's sunny. It is hot though. You know, this is the summer season here, and very humid. It's very hot, very humid. But hey, if you're up north and you're tired of all the rain, down here is the way to be. Chris, how are you? Hit the thumbs up for Philly. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Jerry, how are you doing this morning? Jerry Birch, I hope you are doing well. Ronald Wilson, hello from Cleveland, Ohio. Let's talk about Cleveland, Ohio, shall we? Ronald, my first wife, when I say first, I've had 10. No, I'm just kidding. Two. My first wife, her family was from Ohio, and I lived out there for a while. And they were all like Cowboys Browns fans, the Browns fans and stuff. And I got to meet people. Yeah, you got to come to a Browns game. I'm like, all right. The fans are very loyal, very energetic. Had a good time up there. Going to a couple games. The old stadium, not the newer stadium. And the fans are really loyal. But I don't think I could ever be a Browns fan because, man, it's the old next year. But they have put out some good teams here recently. But Ohio State Buckeyes. I always like the Ohio State Buckeyes, unless they were playing Penn State, right? Ricky USA, how are you doing? John says 2 more years and I'll be living there full time. Hey, John, I'm going to be honest with you. Those 2 years are going to drag. You know what I mean? They're going to drag because you're almost there, but don't allow any distractions to come up. You know what I mean? Unless it's something really bad. You know what I mean? I don't know if you have family that's still alive or whatever, but don't get distracted. Follow that 2 year mark and go for it. Um, Once in your mind, when I moved here, of course, I've come here. I spent time here, um, not just visit like a week and leave. Like I spent some time here. I think the longest shot I did was like 6 months at one time. I had an apartment. Um, I think I bought a motorbike. I was here 6 months. Went back to the States with my wife. But it is hard to just pull that trigger, make that final decision. And once you make that final decision and pull the trigger in your mind, like you just do it. You know what I mean? Because I hear people that, oh, I want to move here, but this came up. I want to move there, but this came up. You got to pull that trigger and keep the finger on that trigger. Things will distract you, but your end goal is to get here. You may like it, you may not like it. You know what I mean? But good luck to you. Hope he doesn't have a brownout. Guys, we shouldn't have a brownout. All right. We had a scheduled brownout, and it's nice that they tell you there's a scheduled brownout. That way you can plan your day accordingly. Um, so we had our scheduled brownout. I said, let's go grab something to eat. And place we go to, I know they have generators and they have fans, and he has internet and everything like that. And so we did breakfast, and then I said, all right, um, let's just go down to the beach. Let's go down to Cloud Nine. There's always an area there where there's just a nice breeze. We know where we can sit up underneath the shade so we don't cook. Like we don't look like tourists, right? Um, so we did that. I met a very nice family from, where were they from? Sweden, Switzerland, Netherlands, one of those countries. And got to talking with them and, told them, hey, gave them ideas where to go besides the tourist areas here. You know what I mean? And yeah, we just had a good time. Looked down at my watch. I didn't look at my watch on my phone. It's like 6:30. I'm like, let's go home. Let's go home. The brownout's over. Nope, the brownout wasn't over. They didn't turn it back on until like 11 o'clock that night. They would send out messages saying, yeah, the main one of the substations on the island blew. That's why we have a brownout. Our linesmen are working on it. And then we get a picture like there's a fire, there's a fire, and it caught the line. And I'm just like shaking my head, like, wow, this is just, you can't make some of these stories up. You know what I mean? But yeah, maybe survive. You know what I mean? You'll survive. Um, that's the thing. If you want that constant power all the time, and oh, but if you want to experience the Philippines, if you don't want to be that expat bubble living guy, you got to you got to experience things here. You just got to. Ah, Deptford, New Jersey. How is Deptford, New Jersey doing? It hit 101 today in Texas. Wow. Wow. 101. That's warm. Here's another thing you can tell where we live. If it's hot, we have a well, we pump water up to a holding tank, right? Then the holding tank brings us water down into the house, and you know how that works. In the summertime, the water coming out of that well, now that well's down a good 30 feet, it's cold. It sits up in the tank, and then the tank becomes like a heater, and it heats up that water. So when you go to take a towel bath, right, the water's warm. Because during the rainy season, that water will get ice cold. Tim says, hello from Calgary, Canada, arriving to Manila November 10th, flying to Calibo, and we'll explore for 3 weeks. My plan is to retire in 2026 in Asia. Cool. Calibo, 3 weeks. I don't know where Calibo is. I would have to look it up. But yeah, explore. Explore. If you can ride a scooter, get on a scooter, explore. Trust me, it looks chaotic, the driving here in cities, but you'll get used to it. You know what I mean? You just get used to it. You be careful. But get out and explore. See what's there. Have a good time. Some of these expat bubble or these bubble expats, like, I don't get it. Like, why they don't go out, why they don't explore, why, I guess we can get into my topic. I apologize, guys, if, I get talking. I see everybody's comments. Good morning. Seaweed Hero, how are you doing? Our Philippines adventures, been 100 here in Bacola. But a lot of times, guys, you get people that will retire here in the Philippines, and I just started to call them like bubble expats. They they're not old to where their bones are creaking and they can't get around. They're 60s, maybe some 50s, even some of these military guys that are retiring here, they become what I call bubble expats. You know what I mean? You probably don't. That's why I'm going to explain it. They may have a house. You know what I mean? They might have a house they built, everything like that. They may be living in a condo. They may be living in a community, a gated community. Like, they get up, they stay in their house, the bubble, in the air condition. Nothing wrong with that. Hop in their bubble car with the air condition, go to the bubble mall, hang out in the bubble mall, leave their bubble mall, go to their friend who also lives in a bubble. You know what I mean? Like, they don't get out and explore things, see things. You have some expats that are married and stuff, and even dating girls. Like, I ain't going to your province. There's no hotel there. You know what I mean? Or there's a hotel, but no air conditioning. Like, they don't get out and explore and see what, how the people interact. Besides driving down the road in their car, looking at people, how they interact, they don't get to experience it. They may have gone one time and, I don't like it. Well, the girl wants you to be there, because when I've noticed that when people get away from the people that live in city, the Filipino women and stuff, they act a certain way, they present themselves a certain way. Maybe they work a banking job, maybe they work in sales, maybe they have good jobs. I'm not talking about the bar girls. I'm talking about the ones that have a profession. And I know somebody will say, well, bar girl's a profession. You know what I'm saying, right? When they leave the area they're in or their work, and they got to uphold an image, and they get into the province here, they just let loose. You know what I mean? They just let loose. They they're not worried about the hair. They're not worried about their makeup. They're not worried about what somebody might, a friend might say. They just kind of let loose. And I don't know. I just like, and don't get me wrong. I mean, not all the time, but I don't mind like going to fiestas here. I don't mind going to gatherings. There was a bunch of Filipinos. Um, I like observing. I like looking and observing what's going on, how the people are interacting, how they're talking. I don't understand what they're talking about, but some will talk to me, some won't talk to me. But I just like that, you know. But I don't. I'd rather if I came up to a path and the road splits and it says scenic waterfall, or it says an adventure of a lifetime waterfall. I'm going that way. You know what I mean? I just like doing things like that. And there are people that do get out and interact with the people. I do see it down here. Um, Expats that live down here, but they're younger, they're like a younger crowd. But I don't know. I guess to each their own. But that's just how I am. And I encourage people like I want to do all these things before I can, you know. Um, but I encourage people, hey, get out and enjoy life, get out and explore. Hello, Puppet Master. I'm a puppet master, master of puppets. Now that's a good song. I'm visiting a girl in Auckland and a Canadian vlogger in Roxas, as he owns a. I know who you're talking about, Tim. James, James. Yeah, right. I know who you're talking about. Trying to think, did I ever meet them? I don't think I ever met them. Um, I met him, got familiar with him when he was married to his first wife, and that I had spoke with them when they were together. Matter of fact, I even had him on one of my lives, and they always seem very nice, very friendly, very upbeat, um, and I'll occasionally look at his videos and stuff. I mean, there's a guy right there. I mean, he made something out of himself here, you know. Um, don't get me wrong, people. When you own a business here, there's good times and bad times. You got to put up with the good and the bad. But he seems to be doing okay. But yeah, have a good time. Have a good time. Good morning, Mr. Kojak. Good morning, Mr. Kojak. You are looking very hydrodynamic. Sort of that word in there for me to challenge me. I have a hard time reading hydrodynamic these days. This will assist you travels through Southeast Asia where you scuba dive. When's your next dive? You know what? Lou and I have been talking about it. We want to do a dive here. Once again, the prices here on things are more expensive than what they should be. Let's put it that way. Just more expensive. And there's the old, I want to get the most bang for my buck. The amount of money they want to scuba dive here. Now, granted, I have my own gear. We have our own gear. All we need to rent is a tank. We don't need your gear. We don't need your mask. We don't need your fins. And when we told them that, it said, we'll come down 100 pesos on your diving excursion. I'm like, the fuck? Anyways, the coral here is not that great. I've seen videos of it. I've seen it. You're not getting the bang for your buck. You know what I mean? Be like, oh, I'm going for lobster, which I did, huh? I'm going in for lobster. All right. But then they put a damn piece of shrimp on your plate. You're not getting the bang for your buck. But we've talked about it. We'll see. We'll see. Right now, I just, that thrive to do it, isn't there? I guess you could say everyone went outdoors. My old ladies' village is in a restricted area per the U.S. Embassy. Bit odd, but I'd like to go. Um, I like your icon, Thor Quest. Um, I a lot of Mindanao. I think all of Mindanao is under like an advisory by the United States about not going there and this and that. Um, I don't know. I guess you would have to feel comfortable, and where your wife or your girlfriend is from. Like she should let you know if it's safe or not. You know what I mean? Unless she's getting ready to, I'm just joking. Um, but we're in northern Mindanao, and it's safe. You get down to what's the other city on the island here? Sorry, I can't think of it. Davao City. That's safe. That's clean. Now, if she says, "Oh, we're kind of like out in the jungle," and I don't know. I don't know. Jack in the Philippines. Hey, Brian, whatever rocks your boat and keeps you living together. Correct. Correct. I'm just saying how I look at things. I guess if you want to, if you have no problem being a bubble expat, I mean, that's up to you. I just put a name on it. Um, who knows? Maybe when I get older, I'll probably be a bubble expat, but I'll have memories. I'm saying I'll have memories. Wander Life. Morning, Brian. Swinging it here from sunny Gal. Wandering Life. I think I read your comment. I think I read your comment. You said you were going to be in Siargao for a couple weeks, I think. We just left General Luna yesterday to come back. I think we'll be back there in a couple more weeks. So I do have to go over there. We do have to run over there for something. But yeah, welcome to Siargao Island. Huh? Welcome to the brownout we had. How many expats miss biscuits and gravy? A good biscuit and gravy. Me, I have found decent biscuit and gravies here. The problem is the biscuit. It's the gravy is easy to do because I'll do sausage gravy over potatoes, home fried potatoes. That's the easy part. The biscuit is the hard part to get that biscuit just right. Um, Eric and Mercy, when they had their store Pappy's, when they had their restaurant, they had a good biscuit and gravy. Matter of fact, they may have been the only people that were doing the biscuit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I miss a good biscuit and gravy. And here we don't have, the Pillsbury dough things you get like in a tube. I think they still make them in a tube, right? Or they have bread, they have croissants, they have cookies, and you pop it, you twist it, and the thing would pop. You know what I mean? They don't sell those here. Oh, because they had some good biscuits that you can make some good biscuits and gravy with. But yeah, they don't. I've never seen one of them here, even in SNR, Landers, in the malls. I've never seen one here. Guys, those were awesome. The cinnamon rolls. Oh, they were good. Cinnamon rolls, man, and you put butter on them. Ah, now I'm getting hungry. Ari in the diving. When I came here the first time in 2018, I was told by a foreigner dive master that a lot of the reefs have. Yes, you're correct. The Wonder Life. A lot have been destroyed by dynamite fishing. Also, when Odette came through, I was told that destroyed a lot of the coral reef. You know what I'm saying? Um, I guess if you're into muck diving, it might be good for muck diving if you're into that. Um, well, yeah, dynamite fishing and typhoon. You got to figure, hell, not only I don't know, 20 years ago plus or so, there was no tourists on this island. The tourists, go up to 30 years. There was no power on this island. There were no tourists. There was no airport. There was nobody coming here for anything. It was just the locals living on a small island, you know, with the ocean to live off of, and other islands living the same way, you know, did that dynamite fishing and shit. It went unchecked. And when things go unchecked, it'll get destroyed. And but yeah, I like doing a lot of snorkeling here. Where are we at? Tell them it's only tell them it's only 100 pesos to touch your head. You might going off of this one. Tell the locals to pat you on the head for good luck. Uh, uh, Tim, maybe I'm missing people's comments. I know I'm missing people's comments. If you're talking to me, um, maybe you're not. Uh, Jasper the gerbil. Do you have any spare rooms down there? I hear Jasper wants to leave his bubble and he needs somewhere cheap to live. Leave Jasper. Alan retired in the Philippines. Good morning from Kalinga, Luzon. Wife and I are also going through a land dispute with wife's siblings. Have to rebuild our house. Hope the situation gets better. Alan, it's heating up. Let's put it that way. Um, the land saga here. All right, I'm actually going to do a video today on it. But if you haven't watched the video about the land saga here, it's not us. We're like in the middle of this Hatfields and McCoy thing going on. Um, one landowner, one person in their family say they own the land. One person in their family say they own the land. This person can provide everything they need possible up to this point to prove that they own the land. Like they have a like a bachelor's degree diploma that can prove that they own the land. Right. But then you got this party over here. Like they're just no, we own it. And they got like a kindergarten diploma. Like they're just saying they own it without proving it. So things have happened within the past week. And I just sit back and like, that's y'all problem. This land has really nothing to do. But yeah, stay tuned. But I understand where you're coming from. It can be a pain in the ass. The mentality of some people. But I am learning this, Alan, just watching what's going on, the families. And this is not our family, the other two families. The person with the most money and the most political pull is going to win that. I can see it. I can see it happening here. Anyways, good luck with it. Good luck with it. What did Scotty Smile say? The bust open tube still exits. Good biscuits. I need to bring you to the south. You'll never eat too bright. Scotty, I have eaten. I couldn't tell you if it was the greatest biscuits and gravy down south, um, because it was like at a roadside restaurant. Remember, we stopped in there, and I'm like, get biscuits and gravy. I thought that was amazing. But yeah, it's like I made a comment about Scrapple the other day. Some people knew what Scrapple was, and some people didn't. Your land saga is bizarre. Todd M. Hello, hello, Brian. Hope you and Lut are doing well. Thank you, Todd. We are. We're doing well. I don't know what Lut is up to. I think she may be out in the garden. I think so. You got to get it now because I'm telling you, middle of the day, and even now, the humidity it's hot. And I always said, if a Filipino tells you it's hot outside, it's hot. It's a good question. Certainly. Have you seen very many people using a lawnmower to cut the grass? Um, I'm going to tell you where I've seen probably the best lawnmower setup where I lived. And probably I've the nicest set I ever seen up on Clark at the VA cemetery. Right? Um, I got to know the guy that runs it. He's an American guy. He's in charge of the maintenance, the paperwork. He's working for the federal government, the United States government, and his job is to maintain that cemetery there. And you would see like the more modern lawnmowers there. Like he put a lot of money into maintaining and keeping it beautiful, and it is beautiful. But as far as people like, besides that, seeing that and how they maintain it, I don't really see. I'm trying to think. It's just how frequent I've seen it, or how least amount I've seen it. I can't remember seeing people pushing a lawnmower. You know what I mean? Weed whackers, oh, they'll weed whack everything. They'll put 20 guys up on a highway, all right, with weed whackers, and they'll just right down the highway. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird that you don't see people out lawn, pushing a lawnmower. Um, I know our tiny little yard we had when we lived in Angeles, it was a tiny little yard. We used hand clippers. That's what they use, hand clippers to cut the grass. Um, but yeah, but we did have a guy that come around with a weed whacker. Yeah, what we paid him. We didn't pay him very much, and he weed whacked all out front of our house, and he raked it up. You can get some good labor, good guys that know what they're doing. You know, Seaweed. Do they have a land registry office with all land titles listed? Who's in charge there? Seaweed here, I would imagine over in Surigao City, which is the municipality of Surigao del Norte. All right, that's where all the legal transactions take place. Business, you know what I'm saying? The hub of everything that deals with the government. You'll have your local agencies, but they're the ones that deal with the government when it comes to like titles and you know things like that. That is over in Surigao City, and that is Surigao del Norte. That's like their municipality. So I would probably say that would be where you could find all that. You know, Surigao, no expenses spared. You get to choose a piece of land and build a house. Or on the island, do you do it? And what style of house are you going for? Uh, First of all, I would not be General Luna area. I would build up north in the northern part of the island, where it's just beautiful, beautiful. I'd buy enough land to where I didn't have to worry about a neighbor building up on me. Solar all the way. I would build it on the sunset side. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily know if I'd have it on the ocean, maybe up off the ocean. Um, but up north is beautiful. That's where it's at, up north. Um, but yeah, no expenses spared. It would be typhoon proof. You know what I'm saying? Where I didn't have to worry about it. But north is where it's at. And you can get up north there, you could drive around, and you'll see a lot of for sale signs. Boop, boop, for sale sign. Um, some will say with a clear title, right? Some will just say for sale. So that's where you got to do your research to find out. Um, People will sell a piece of land without the proper documents. Mike, our Philippine journey. How are you doing? How was Mike, our Philippine journey? I think I was just over in your room. Uh, yeah, Tumblr. Uh, no, no, but that's a good idea, huh? YouTube video. Caddyshack. Now that's a see. These are the shows we grew up with, right? Caddyshack and all them comedians, the Bill Murrays and Steve Martin and Chevy Chase, and like those were our comedians we laughed with. You know what I mean? I couldn't tell you any new comedian out there. You know, couldn't even tell you the latest comedy movie that's out there. You know, it's weird. You know, and like I turned 58, you know, the other day. Like I only have a couple more years before I'm labeled a senior citizen. What the hell? A senior citizen. I mean, it's 60 in the Philippines, you know what I mean? But Jesus, I'll be a senior citizen. Go for halls. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they will. Uh my Filipino mother-in-law cuts grass with a bolo. There is no petrol to buy for a lawnmower. Oh yeah, they'll clean a land all the way out with a bolo. I see them do it here. I've seen them done it all over the place. Um, if they got a big enough tree, they can get a chainsaw in to drop it. If it ain't a big tree and maybe it's yay big, they'll whack that. They will go to town cleaning land here. Yeah. Uh, are there any historical topics you could explore there? I really loved your Gettysburg videos, Independent World War II videos in the Philippines. You're a great storyteller when it comes to historic topics. Oh, thank you, Todd. I don't know. The other day I was thinking, you know, there's got to be something, you know, because you get General Luna Island, the city where the tourists are at is General Luna. So I was just thinking the other day, I got to go find out the connection to all this. You know what I mean? Um, I do want to get on, but as far as like really historical World War II type stuff here on this island, I'm not aware of any. Um, but I did like going up to Clark. I always like going up on Clark and exploring Clark, checking out monuments and doing things. And you know, certain people like certain videos. Like I enjoyed doing that. And you know, some of the subscribers liked that. Others didn't like it. And you know, I wouldn't get a big view on it, but it was something I enjoyed doing. So I think sometimes YouTubers are pushing to get that big view. I always want that big view. I always want that big view. And they don't get away from certain things to show other areas. Like I explored Clark like crazy. Back in the old hospital before it was even being renovated. Um, Japanese tunnels, um, just the old monuments that they put up um, all over the base here that are they're there, but they're just grown up. You know what I mean? There's no care taken into it and everything like that. And I would stop and read the plaques and say, I like doing all that. To me, that was fun. That was fun. That's better than going to a bar. But even Gettysburg, Todd, I love Gettysburg. I love going there. I took look down there. You know what I mean? Sanford and Son, yeah. Did I just see something where they were coming out with a new Sanford and Son where Eddie Murphy's supposed to play the father? I don't know. I didn't quite catch that. The Naked Gun film reboot. I want to see that, Seaweed Hero. I want to see that. I like the first one. See, that was the comedy. You'd go to the movie, and that was the comedy. You know what I mean? Those were the comedy shows you went to, and made you laugh. Um, I want to watch. I do want to watch this reboot. My wife, she likes Liam Neeson, and Liam Neeson to me, okay, had some good movies, had some flops, but I think Pam Anderson's in it, and now there's rumor they're dating, but yes, I do want to see the Naked Gun remake. Where are we at? Trains, planes, and automobiles. Yep. How about the old Christmas comedies and stuff? Yeah. I just watched one remake. It's not a remake. I guess it. I don't know. I guess it would be a modern remake. I just watched one on the War of the World. You know, remember the War of the Worlds? I think Tom Cruise did one. That's when they were having all the special effects, and it was cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all that. They just came out with a new one, and it's kind of like geared towards the modern technology of the world right now. You know what I mean? Um, more futuristic, and I thought that was a good one. That was a good one they just put out. Also, Henry and Choi is good. Ram. Hi, Brian. Delmont, the company that likes to say yes, leases Philippines land to grow fruit for export. Unfortunately, Delmont went bust in the USA. Not familiar. Delmont fruit? Is it Del Monte or Delmont? Monte? The name sounds familiar, but it's not clicking right now. Sorry. Um, Michael, go Steelers and Eagles. Pennsylvania should win another Super Bowl here with one of those teams, probably the Eagles. Hopefully, the Phillies do better with the new closer, makes the World Series. Yeah, I seen they just signed on that closer. They're getting to the end. They're pushing it. Um, who knows? You know, I don't watch a lot of the games regular season when it comes to baseball. Um, I'll watch the playoffs. Um, I don't know. The Steelers and Eagles to the Super Bowl. We'll see, right? We'll see. Maybe the Cowboys, right? This is the Cowboys' year. I always say that every year. What? do you think about the new broad Sydney Sweeney? Super hot. Jimmy Jam. Jimmy Jam. What's going on, Jimmy Jam? Um, you know what? That's all the talk, I guess, on the news and all that. And was there something to do with they were trying to twist what she's trying to represent? Everybody has their own view on everything. Um, but here's what I think. Good for her. Good for her. You know, she is super hot. I seen her, and good for her. You know, she's that newest, hottest superstar slash model. You know what I mean? Good for her. Um, Making money. You know, good for her. You know, a lot of times though, a lot of these, you know, we as YouTubers, we get some haters and stuff coming at you and all that, but you know, when some of these Hollywood people and musicians that are really huge, you know, and get caught up in things like that, and they're young, like they have like breakdowns, like mental breakdowns. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy how social media has made people and just destroyed people. You know? All right. Yes, that's who I thought. The canned goods. I do remember them. They had a can, and then they had you know, the label around it with the fruit on it and stuff. I do remember them. I do. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Bud Brown and his wife Gloria moved from the Philippines. Did they move and come back, or I don't know? I have not watched Bud Brown in quite a while. Quite a while. Um, in 5 years, upright, walking, and hopefully still enjoying life. You know, that's all we can all hope for. That we get to wake up the next day and enjoy it. Monaco's a big fruit producer. You know what? I probably have looked at Del, Mon- Del Monte fruit here. You know, because they use a lot of fruit here to make fruit salads and everything like that. The Lone Ranger has finally arrived. Where is Tonto? That's another cart. That wasn't a cartoon, but TV show. That is one of the first TV shows I can remember watching. Like one of my first vivid memories of life um, was watching the Lone Ranger and Tonto. Now, I don't think I watched it. Say, I couldn't tell you when the Lone Ranger came out or when it went off the air. Um, I can't say it was when it was originally airing or not, but I do remember watching the Lone Ranger. Maybe it was in reruns. I don't remember. Of course, this was also at the beginning stages of expanding TV and cable and internet and everything like that. Um, but yeah, I do remember that. But you're new to the channel. Heard from Frank and Fell of the Philippines. Heard from Frank and Fell of the Philippines. I'm not sure you're talking about. I know a Frank, a Frank, um, Frank and Fellow. I know a couple. I'm not sure you're talking about. But anyways, thanks for joining the live stream. Oh, Bud Brown is back in Dumagetti. Hey, Victor C. Thanks for stopping in. Oh yeah, there we are. Thanks for stopping in and saying hello, Victor. I don't know what you're up to, but whatever you're up to, if you're just dropping in, thanks for dropping in. And whatever you're up to, have a good time, right? Creature Feature. How about Creature Feature? Hmm, that name sounds familiar. I remember H&R Huff, Puff and Stuff. That's like one of my first vivid memories of TV. Uh, Green Acres. My mom used to watch. Like, it's crazy, right? I'll be a senior citizen in a couple more years. I can reminisce. Heard about their channel from your channel there in Iloilo. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, thank you for stopping in. I have to check out some of these newer channels. I know there's quite a few more channels that are popping up. Um, I like listening to people's new ideas, new perspective of when they come here to the Philippines and how they're starting out and the things they're going through and all that. I enjoy that. I enjoy that. Listening to people's stories, what they're going through and the struggles and the craziness that that they're experiencing here. You'll get used to it. But so you heard from Nerd Channel. They're in Iloilo. All right, cool. Wait, hang on. Nerd Channel. Type in who are you talking about? Yeah, Frank and Phil. All right, because it doesn't Iloilo. I got things confused. Um, I'm with you, 59. Well, Scott, you're 1 year older than me, my friend. Yeah. You'll be a senior citizen next year in the Philippines. If you're in the Philippines, you will be a senior citizen next year because their senior citizen age is 60. Hogan's Heroes. Yes, I remember Hogan's Heroes. Yes, I do. Hogan's Heroes. Like cartoon wise, Speed Racer, man. I love Speed Racer. Ultraman. Remember Ultraman? So, and I look back at now and I watched a video on Ultraman. It's like I couldn't believe I watched that. Like it was so corny. Yeah. Roy Rogers Restaurant. Roy Rogers Restaurant at the mall. Yeah, mall. What? Here's a good one for you. Malls in America. What malls? I remember growing up, there were malls all over the place. Now there still are malls, but not as many. You know, not as many. Love your lobster. Gong me. Uh, yeah, that was good. That was a very, very good lobster. Like I said, I was surprised how much meat was in that lobster. I mean, I was surprised. Mr. T, money. Oh yeah, Scott, that's always how it's been. Um, Unfortunately, in the Philippines, they just had a thing go through with the government. If you're not a Philippine citizen, they do not recognize you as a senior, at least according to the article. Yeah, that's been in place. Um, Now, some people will get like a courtesy senior citizen discount. You know what I'm saying? Um, Maybe if you go out to a restaurant or something small and they know you're a senior, um, they may give you a discount um, just out of like a respect thing. You know what I mean? But as far as you getting benefits here, like applying for benefits, um, flashing that card all over the place, um, yeah, you don't get them discounts. You know, um, but that's always been in place. But you'll have expats here that, and I've seen it, have gotten that senior card. They're not hard to get. Just like anything else, you can get things here. Um, and they're expats, and they're running around flashing that card everywhere they go. And what's the business owner going to do? They don't know the business owner might not know the full law. All he sees is, oh, okay, he's got a senior ID. All right, sign here, sign this. You know what I mean? They don't know. But you got expats running around flashing that card everywhere they go. And if they get caught, they're not caught. But I know what you mean, yeah. Playing outside until the street lights came on. Oh, yes. WKRP in Cincinnati. Lonnie Anderson passed away today. She was also married to Burt Reynolds. Yeah, wow, I didn't know that. Lonnie Anderson. Yeah, she was like the hot girl too. You know what I'm saying? The poster girl. You guys remember when the posters came out? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can Google it while I say what I want to say. From my understanding, Farrah Fawcett's swimsuit poster is still or is the number one best-selling poster in history. The one I think she was in, I think it was in a red swimsuit, had her head tilt back, you know what I mean? Looking all hot and beautiful. All right. I think that still is the number one poster ever sold, money-wise. They were all over the place. I had them in my locker. I used to go through the magazines, the teen magazines, and I would see like Farrah Fawcett, another one, Wonder Woman. She was another one that was hot. You know what I mean? And of course, the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. And I would snip the article picture and I would paste them in my locker. You know what I mean? Me and my cronies, we'd have, yo, did you get the? Oh no, what? Like that's what you hung up in your locker. You know what I mean? But yeah, Lonnie Anderson. I remember she was on a poster too. They're dying. People are dying. Last week was bad too. Gilligan's Island, Taxi, Barry Miller, All in the Family. Yeah. Farrah Fawcett. Yes. Let's not forget about Kathy Ireland, except when she started doing advertising for Kmart. Yeah. Every poster of Farrah Fawcett was a bestseller. I know Ricky USA. Lonnie's poster was number 2 behind Farrah. Posters in late 70s, college dorm rooms. All right. Charlie's Angel. Oh, now, Mark, we can't say that last word, Mark. Come on. I don't know. I when you come to the Philippines too, my thing is, this is just me. All right. Watch news. Watch whatever news you want to watch. So, CNN, ESPN, or ESPN, CNN, Fox, MSNBC. Watch whatever you want. I really don't care. Know what's going on in the world. All right. But God, don't stress yourself out over it. Don't do it. Like, I can see some expats now, like they're just getting so wrapped up in what's going on back in their home country. Why? You're here. Know what's going on, but don't let it eat you up. And I think it's a lot of the bubble expats. Expats that just live in a bubble, don't get out, don't do anything. They sit on the computer. They watch the latest news. They check this out. They check that out. Like, and they let all that bother them. You know what I mean? I watch news every day. I watch news, and I don't let it engulf my life. But a lot of people do, because they're still they're talking to the other bubble expat, the other bubble expat that may be next door to them in their gated community, or the other bubble expat who's living down the road from them. They're all doing the same thing. Like, come on, like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to enjoy life, not worry about those things. You know, have black like posters, defiance. Remember Spencer's? You guys remember Spencer's? You go to the back end of Spencer's. They had those racks with the posters in them, and they would have the blue lights and all that shit in the back, and reflect the light onto the black posters. Yeah. Who had a Elvis Presley black poster, right? When you watch Filipinos in the Philippines, do they have English subtitles? You know what? I think the best thing to do to watch news in the Philippines is to watch it online and find a channel that converts it to English or has English subtitles. That's what you know what's going on. I really don't watch Philippine news because honestly, I don't have a say in anything here. I can watch it, I can look at it, I can agree or disagree with something, but I don't have a say here. So I really don't watch it. Now my wife will watch it, because it's her country. Spencer's was cool. You're right, it was. You're right, it was cool. There's an English guy who lives in Zamboanga del Norte. He has a good YouTube channel. I will let you know his channel for observation. All right. Sounds good. Hang on. Do you think the bubble atmosphere is because all the young Filipinos living a bubble atmosphere now too? Online dating has become so prevalent. Yeah. I mean, it's just the world, right? It's just, I think it's the world we live in. Everybody pretty much lives in a bubble, right? Depends on the size of your bubble. But yeah. All right, guys. I am going to wrap this one up. It's been an hour. What time is it? 11, yeah. Thanks, guys, for stopping in. Thanks for your questions. I do greatly appreciate it. Like I said, you guys are going to be blown away with this new crazy thing that's going on with these people claiming they own the land, and it's crazy. So stay tuned for that video. Thanks for stopping in. Everybody have a good day, good night, good afternoon, wherever you're at. And we shall talk to you later.